Good afternoon. Mr. Clerk, let's call this regular meeting of the Providence City Council to order.
Council President Matos,
Present.
Councilwoman Anthony,
Present.
Councilwoman Castillo,
Present.
Councilman Correa,
Present.
Councilman Espinal,
Present.
Councilman Goncalves,
Present.
Councilwoman Harris,
Present.
Councilman Igliozzi,
Present.
Councilor Kerwin,
Present.
Councilwoman LaFortune,
Present.
Councilor Miller,
Present.
Councilman Narducci is absent, Councilwoman Ryan,
Present.
Councilman Salvatore,
Present.
Councilman Taylor.
Here.
You have 14 present and 1 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. The invocation is going to be given this afternoon by Councilwoman Majority Leader Joanne Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. Dear Lord, we place ourselves before you, for you are filled with beauty and light. Bless this meeting and all those present. Help and guide us to do what is best for the people of this great city. Help us to listen before speaking. Help us to respect the opinions of others. Help us to value and appreciate everyone's thoughts and contributions. Help us to be steadfast in our duties as representatives of the people of Providence. And help us to remember those who came before us on this great American journey. Let us remember Susan B. Anthony, that great activist and social reformer who on this day in 1873 was charged and fined $100 for trying to vote in the election of 1872. Enlighten us so that we may do what is right on this day and in this time. And let it not be lost on us, on this honorable body, that we sit here on the eve of Juneteenth. Regrettably, still the unofficial holiday celebrating the emancipation of the last remaining enslaved African Americans. Help us to do what is right. We all have a role to play in seeing that systemic racism and violence stops and stops now. Help us to come together in unity and to make our city and state better for all and for future generations. May your light unfold us. May your spirit guide us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilwoman. The Pledge of Allegiance is going to be led by Councilman David Salvatore.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the United States of
United States
America
of America,
and to the republic
to the Republic,
for which it stands,
One nation,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Would you like the solicitor to go on the record, Council President?
Thank you. Yes, the solicitor, please, can you place on the record the legality of this meeting? Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Yes. Per the Governor of Rhode Island's Executive Order 20-46, it is appropriate for us to hold this meeting via the Zoom app.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Mr. Clerk?
Certificate of election of member of the City Council. Item 3, certificate of election from the Board of Canvassers certifying that John M. Goncalves has been duly elected by the electors of the City of Providence to hold said office for the remainder of the unexpired term ending on the first Monday in January 2023.
I gladly receive this item, and I would like to take this opportunity to officially welcome Councilman Goncalves to the Providence City Council. It's really a pleasure for us to have you join us. So, Councilman Goncalves, would you like to say something?
Sure. Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, everyone. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to work with this body, and I'm appreciative for the really warm welcome, and I look forward to serving Ward 1 in the greater city of Providence. Thank you.
Any other council members would like to add any comments?
Welcome. We're glad to have him.
Good,
Thank you, Councilwoman.
great. All right, Mr. Clerk.
Approval of minutes. Item 4, Journal of Proceedings, number 16, of the regular meeting of the City Council held June 4th, 2020.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
move approval on a voice vote, item 4.
Second that motion, Madam President.
Thank you. The motion has been made and second to approve item number 4 on a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Appointments by the President of the City Council. Item 5, communication from Council President Matos. The City Clerk of her appointment, Councilman John M. Goncalves, as a member of the Special Committee on State Legislative Affairs.
Proceed.
Communication from Council President Matos dated June 12, 2020, informing the City Clerk of her appointment of Councilman John M. Goncalves as a member of the Special Committee on Economic Growth Strategies.
Proceed.
Ordinances, second reading. The following ordinances were in City Council June 4th.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to ask the clerk to read items 7 through 9 and into the record and pass for the second time on a roll call vote.
Second.
The motion has been made and second to ask the clerk to read items 7 through 9. Both, all these items are going to be passed for the second time on a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk?
Item 7, an ordinance and amendment of Chapter 23, Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Places, Article 1, entitled In General of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence by amending Section 23 through 31, use of skateboards on street, highway, sidewalk, pedestrian mall. And I have a note that Councilwoman Castillo would like to be added as a sponsor to this. Are there any other sponsors for item number 7? Item 8, an ordinance and amendment of Article 22 of Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence entitled Administration, amending Section 2-358. Were there any additional sponsors for that? I also had Castillo added as that one. Item 9, an ordinance and amendment of Chapter 27 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence entitled The City of Providence Zoning Ordinance, approved November 24, 2014, as amended to change the zoning district on the official zoning map for the property located on Assessor's Plat 53, Lot 386, 12 Lenox Avenue, from R2 to C1.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Matos.
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo.
Aye.
Councilman Correa.
Aye.
Councilman Espinal.
Aye.
Councilman Goncalves.
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris.
Aye.
Councilman Igliozzi.
Aye.
Councilor Kerwin.
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Aye.
Councilor Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Narducci is absent. Councilwoman Ryan.
Aye.
Councilman Salvatore.
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
Absent. The several matters passed for the second time on a roll call vote. Presentation of ordinance. Item 10. Councilwoman Castillo, Anthony, and Councilman Espinal. An ordinance and amendment of Chapter 27 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence entitled The City of Providence Zoning Ordinance, approved November 24th, 2014, as amended to change certain text in Article 18 regarding notice of requirements.
Refer to the Committee on Ordinance.
Presentation of resolutions. Item 11.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to ask the clerk to read items 11 through 21 into the record and to pass on a roll call vote.
Second that motion, Madam President.
The motion has been made on second for the clerk to read the items 11 through 21. Those items are going to be passed on a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, and I would like to be a co-sponsor of these items also.
All items?
All items, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Before I get started, are there any other counselors that would like to be a co-sponsor of all of the items?
All items.
Miller?
Ryan, Miller, Harris.
No, not all items for me.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry. No, not all of them, but I do have ones I do feel passionate about.
All right.
Okay, then
You
let's
want
go
to-
one by one and
One by one. Okay.
after that, if there are no
All right.
other,
Yeah.
following.
11, 12.
Item 11, Council President Matos, resolution recognizing and honoring African American history in Rhode Island and urging the adoption of African American education in Rhode Island's K through 12 schools starting in the 2021 to 2022 academic year. Are there any additional co-sponsors in addition to Council President Matos,
Councilwoman LaFortune, Miller, Ryan, Harris, Anthony, Igliosi, Castillo, Espinal, Kerwin, Goncalves,
Salvatore.
Salvatore,
Taylor.
Taylor also.
I have Ryan, Miller, Espinal, Harris, Anthony, Igliosi, Castillo, Kerwin, Goncalves, Salvatore, Taylor. I'm sorry, who did I miss?
You have Igliosi, LaFortune, Protem.
Okay, so noted. Item 12, Council President Matos, Councilman Goncalves, Correa, Igliosi, Councilwoman LaFortune, Miller, and Ryan. Resolution requesting the General Assembly to allow a referendum to shorten the official state name to the state of Rhode Island. Are there any additional co-sponsors? I see Salvatore,
Harris, Deputy, let me see. Anthony, Castillo, Kerwin, Espinal. Are we missing anybody? Okay.
thank you. Item 13, Council President Matos, Councilman Espinal, Councilwoman Harris, Councilman Goncalves, Councilwoman Anthony, Councilman Correa, Igliosi, Councilwoman Miller, and Ryan, and I have Councilwoman Castillo. Resolution requesting the City Council to condemn the actions of the Minneapolis police officers responsible for George Floyd's death. Do I have any additional co-sponsors?
Councilwoman LaFortune, Councilwoman Kerwin,
Salvatore.
Councilman Salvatore,
Taylor.
Councilman Taylor,
Thank you. Item 14, Councilman Correa, Igliosi, Narducci, and Taylor. Resolution requesting the fleet manager to work with Colonel Hugh T. Clements, Jr. to identify which police vehicles should be converted to confidential plates and to submit a plan to prevent any misuse of take-home vehicles and what course of action will be taken if policy is violated. Any additional co-sponsors? Hearing none. Item 15, Councilwoman LaFortune, Anthony, Councilman Espinal, Goncalves, Councilwoman Kerwin, Miller, Councilman Salvatore, and Igliosi. Resolution requesting a review of the Providence Police Department training curriculum and its use of force policy. Any additional co-sponsors?
so I see Ryan, Harris,
Castillo.
Castillo. Okay,
Thank you.
can we have everybody?
Item 16, Councilwoman LaFortune, Anthony, Councilman Espinal, Goncalves, Councilwoman Kerwin, Miller, Councilman Salvatore, Narducci, and Councilwoman Ryan and Castillo. Resolution requesting a review of Providence's first source and minority business enterprise programs. Any additional co-sponsors?
Deputy Majority Leader Harris. Any additional co-sponsor? Anybody else?
Item 17, Councilwoman LaFortune, Anthony, Councilman Espinal, Goncalves, Councilwoman Kerwin, Miller, Councilman Salvatore and Igliozzi, and Councilwoman Castillo. Resolution urging the General Assembly to repeal the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights.
A co-sponsor, Harris, Ryan. Any additional co-sponsor? Okay.
Item 18, Councilwoman Ryan. Resolution recognizing and remembering the life of Deborah A. Glavin.
I would like to co-sponsor.
Council President?
Taylor.
Actually, Taylor, Castillo, Correa, Espinal, Harris, Goncalves, LaFortune,
Madam President?
Igliozzi.
Thank you.
It says that. Okay.
Salvatore.
Salvatore, and Ryan. I see the hands are up. Did I
Madam
miss
President,
anybody? Councilwoman Ryan?
at the appropriate time, Council President, I'd like to ask that the resolution be read out loud for the record on this item.
Sure.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Clerk, do you want to do it now or you rather do it after?
I can do it when we finish reading through the...
Reading through? Okay. So we're going to
Thank you.
come back to read that item. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
That was a long list, so I just, if it's not everyone present, I will read through that list of co-sponsors. I have, and I'm sure I'm missing someone, so I apologize. Ryan, Council President.
Mr. Clerk, sorry, are you reading for which item? For item 18?
That's correct, for the life.
All right, so just let me just give us some really briefly. This is the wife of former council member Tom Glavin and former chief of staff of the city council, Tom Glavin. So if anyone that would like to add their name, let us know. So if it's everybody, so the clerk knows. Councilwoman Miller and Councilwoman Kerwin.
I believe that's
Councilwoman Anthony. So I think you got everyone?
Yes, okay, we'll have a full co-sponsor.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Item 19, resolution requesting the City Council, the Chief of Police, the City Fire Marshal, and the Director of the Board of Licenses coordinate their efforts to better mitigate the discharge of illegal fireworks within the city. This is currently sponsored by Councilwoman Ryan. Additional co-sponsors.
I'm sorry, can you read that again?
A resolution requesting the City Council, the Chief of Police, the City Fire Marshal, and the Director of the Board of Licenses coordinate their efforts to better mitigate the discharge of illegal fireworks within the city.
Thank you.
Salvatore.
Castillo.
Castillo, Goncalves, Anthony, Taylor, Salvatore, LaFortune, Correa, Harris, Espinal, and
Madam President.
Igliozzi.
Yep, thank you, Madam President.
Yeah. And as I said, I'm co-sponsoring all of them.
Thank you, Madam President.
I'm sorry, we were not able to, was that a full council co-sponsor? I guess I don't want to ask everyone to raise their hand if they're not co-sponsoring. We have,
Is there anyone that would not want to have their name added as co-sponsor? No, I guess it's a full.
thank you, Council President. Item 20, Councilman Salvatore, Espinal, Councilwoman LaFortune, Anthony, and Miller, Councilman Goncalves, and Council President Matos. Resolution requesting that the Providence Retirement Board review pension benefits for police officers disciplined for using excessive force. Are there any additional co-sponsors?
Kerwin, Harris, Castillo, Ryan,
I have added those 4 additional co-sponsors. Item 21, Councilman Salvatore Espinal, Councilwoman LaFortune, Anthony, Councilman Josie, Councilwoman Miller, Councilman Goncalves, Council President Matos. Resolution urging the General Assembly to impose a duty to intervene for police officers. Any additional co-sponsors?
Castillo, Ryan, Harris, any additional?
I have added those 3 additional co-sponsors. Would you like me to read the resolution for Deborah Glavin before or after discussion, Council President?
Oh, can you please read it now, please?
Sure.
And then we open for discussion after.
Whereas Deborah A. Glavin, a lifelong resident of Providence, passed away on June 9th, 2020 at the age of 62, and whereas Deborah was a graduate of Johnston High School and Rhode Island College, and whereas Deborah was an active member of her community as a former board member of Volunteers in the Providence Schools, as well as serving as a long-standing member of the School of Christmas Fair Committee, and whereas Deborah was a data library manager at Brown University for 25 years before retiring due to illness, and whereas Deborah is survived by her loving husband, the Honorable Thomas M. Glavin, their 2 daughters, Allison and Catherine, and her brother, Thomas Pandolfini. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Providence does hereby recognize and remember the life and legacy of Deborah A. Glavin, including her commitment to service in the City of Providence. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Providence extends its deepest condolences to the entire Glavin family, as well as Deborah's extended family and friends throughout Providence and beyond.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Leader Ryan, do you want to add anything else?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I was very pleased to sponsor this resolution. It was a very sad loss for our former colleague, Tom Glavin. He was a chief of staff. I thought it was befitting that we would recognize the passing of his life partner in this body. So I want to thank my colleagues for the unanimous support of the resolution. She was an absolutely amazing woman and passed too soon, way too soon. But her contributions to our community will be long felt. So thank you.
Thank you. Our deepest condolences to the Glavin family. Now we are going on discussion for all these items. Any council member that would like to speak on any of these items that we're about to vote on? Any discussions for this item? Councilwoman LaFortune?
Thank you, Council President. But Councilman Salvatore, because I think I may have to call in, can you allow him, please, to speak before me, and then I'll just call in on my cell phone because I feel like I'm breaking up a little bit.
Okay, Councilman Salvatore?
Sure. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Councilwoman LaFortune. I'll briefly speak on items number 20 and 21. I was happy to hear Colonel Clements during the Finance Committee meeting last week indicate his full confidence in his men and women on the police department, that if there were a situation similar to what happened in Minneapolis, that his team would intercede if there was excessive force being used on a civilian. I think we can all agree that Colonel Clements is a more than decent man, and we have instilled trust in his leadership, and he has certainly been a blessing to the city of Providence. However, I do think it's important that the council and the state of Rhode Island, the General Assembly, play a proactive role to mitigate any possible situation where police officers are put in a position to have to make a decision whether to intercede or to sit on the sidelines. And I would like to think that our officers, and I concur with Colonel Clements, that they would intercede. But again, I think during these times, we have to provide our constituents and the residents of the city of Providence and the state of Rhode Island with the confidence that not only police officers in our capital city, but across the state would do the right thing and intercede. In terms of item number 21, I thought long and hard about the approach that I wanted to take in terms of how we want to address taxpayer-funded pensions in the case that a police officer in Providence is accused and convicted of using excessive force. So the resolution before us that we're considering would ask the city's retirement board to review the existing regulations surrounding pension benefits for those officers who are disciplined for the use of excessive force. I'm interested to hear what the retirement board comes back with in terms of their findings. I think in the case of the officer who killed George Floyd, that individual, is eligible and will benefit from a pension if he's convicted of a felony crime. And that would be a crime in itself if he is able to collect a taxpayer-funded pension. In these situations, in the rules that are promulgated around pensions can become very, very awkward because there are protections in some states, regardless of the outcome of that criminal case, where a police officer who is found guilty of not only using excessive force, but in this case, murdering a civilian would be eligible for a pension. So, in the United States, the laws governing, who can take advantage of their pensions, who has their pensions stripped from accused misconduct, it depends on the state. So again, I think the first step here is to hear from our retirement board. And then if we do need to consult with the General Assembly, we will. But in the meantime, I'm going to be asking our policy team in the City Council office to do their due diligence and research while the retirement board presents their findings to the City Council. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Salvatore. Councilwoman LaFortune, are you ready? Or Councilwoman LaFortune?
Let me see if.
Is she waiting to be admitted? Okay. Councilwoman?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Council President. I rise to speak on items 15, 16, 17. On March 13, Breonna Taylor. On May 25th, George Floyd. Friday, June 12th, Rayshard Brooks, Eric Gardner, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Philandro Castile. January 28th, 2000, Cornell Young Jr. All these individuals and so many more have lost their lives at the hands of police officers. A few years ago at the NAACP Freedom Breakfast, I gave a speech that focused on Dr. Martin Luther King's 1962 speech, The Other America, which speaks to the division and racism that infest our country, causing a divide so severe that seems as if we live in two different nations. One America is full of prosperity and opportunity. The other America is septic with racism, poverty, and economic injustice, and plagues Black communities and other communities of color. 51 years after Dr. King's speech, these two Americas continue to exist. An America where one can walk down the street without care, and another America where the color of your skin makes you an automatic target of injustice and racism, and perhaps death. Dreams are continuously shattered, Hate continues to proliferate, even though we have made many progress to change things. My 3 resolutions is to, 1, hold our police officers accountable. The Law Enforcement Bill of Rights provides police officers with an additional due process and an additional layer of protection. Senator Metz, Rep. Anastasia Williams, the League of Cities and Towns in the past have advocated for this bill to be amended. However, it exists. And so in order for us to truly hold our officers accountable and to ensure that justice is served, this Bill of Rights needs to be repealed, perhaps amended. But the way it currently stands, we cannot move forward in this manner. Secondly, training the training and the curriculum of the academy, and also reviewing the use force policy. In order to create structures that work for all people, we must ensure that our officers are properly trained, they're receiving anti-racism training, they know how to engage with communities, diverse communities of color, and the curriculum is culturally relevant. We also need to think about how to ensure that police officers who are here to serve are also truly engaging with the community, and perhaps in the future to think about creating structures where officers are incentivized to live in the city. Lastly, looking at the MB, WPE, and First Source, we need to invest in communities of color. Our communities of color, particularly our Black communities, are hurting. What's happening right now, including the pandemic, the whole initiative and movement around Black Lives Matter, is that people are saying we are tired. Our communities have been forgotten. There has not been investment in our communities. It is not by surprise that our most vulnerable communities and our communities of color are those that are most adversely affected by COVID-19, because those are the communities that have been pushed into highly dense populated communities, lack of access to affordable housing, lack of access to healthcare, lack of access to a quality education. All people deserve it, but we need to create initiatives where, 1, we're supporting our businesses of color, we're ensuring that they have opportunities, and if individuals are not trained for the positions or the jobs that are available in First Source, then we create programs to prepare them so that they too can have opportunities, and we could set them on paths to success, and so that they and so that those communities can thrive. I thank all my colleagues who have co-sponsored the 3 resolutions. I do hope that the state takes the Law Enforcement Bill of Rights seriously, and I see that the Senate has done so, and hopefully the House follows. And I do hope that we all start looking at the way we create structures of government. We create our educational, the way we create our educational structures, the way we create opportunities for people within our communities, and that we ensure that all people have access. We continue to advocate for resources, and we ensure that the businesses, our businesses of color, are able to have a chance. They're selected for contracts. We ensure that people of color, especially our Black community that is constantly forgotten. We even when we think about the development of Providence and how that became a charter, it was the result of riots in Scarborough as well as Snowtown, which these Black communities were burnt down and people were displaced. We have to invest in the Black community and all communities of color. So thank you again for your support on these resolutions. And I hope that we continue to create structures of accountability and structures in which the government serves all people. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any additional discussion? Councilwoman Harris.
I want to thank my colleagues for taking this situation so very serious. Unfortunately, we had to come to a place in history where the millennials had to show us, in spite of education, how many books you read, how important this is to take action. Many of you know my background. Many of you know that I came from a history and a past of struggle against oppression, all forms of oppression, all forms. My most active work was in police accountability. And I hate to just start identifying people, but the oldest person on that council right now, Councilman Igliozzi, took the blunt of what our bite was when we constantly came and asking for accountability in the Providence Police Department. The councils heard us and they passed what we call the civilian oversight. When they passed the civilian oversight, which was not that easy to do, the Police Bill of Rights kicked in and they took us to court. They crippled us. And I'm talking from 20 years, a decade of being out there. I have the scars, the wounds to prove it. I have history in my heart. I've written many, many things in articles and journals of situations I had to go up against with people who came to an organization that I represented, looking for someone who would stand up for them and believe them that they had been brutally mistreated by police. Now, this didn't only happen by just protesting, yelling at city councils and politicians, demanding our rights. It didn't happen that way. What happened was a struggle. And what happened was constant education. And what happened was people like the young people are doing today with messages that would not stop in the era of time. I'm so grateful and so happy to be able to see this movement, this generational movement, who passed beyond folks that we had to even advocate for education, language, and everything else. But tonight, I'm very proud of my council. I'm very, very proud. I'm proud because I don't no longer have to stand alone in a battle and a fight. I'm proud because this council seen the seriousness of what happened. I'm proud because you heard the question that I had to constantly push about what happens if it happened here. And I only did that because of my knowledge of the Bill of Rights, my knowledge of the consent decree, and my knowledge of other things. But believe me, we have one of the strongest police Bill of Rights in the nation, So this is more than just sitting and putting a resolution through. Even if we put a law through, there will be a battle. I wish all unions, by the way, I'm very supportive of the unions, but I wish they all had such a strong arm. We would have jobs. We would have health care because those things will be advocated. People will be at the front. But in this situation, people's lives are at hand. All these beautiful approaches that have been made mean a lot to me. And I don't mean to take a lot of time. I know I overdid it. I hope this is only was an expression. I hope it's been 5 minutes because I don't want to overdo it. I just want to tell you guys how proud I am of my council. I can say that today because you all have put in some very great laws. But the thing is, we have to understand this battle is only beginning. You have not done anything. A resolution have not done anything. Until we see, like Councilwoman LaFortune said, the ending of these two nations, where we all live in equality. And we have shown that we will stand together and we will fight together. And this is a good day. And I'm so sorry for taking up a lot of time, but it meant a lot to me. I've seen a lot of things this week. I was very disappointed because I've been on the front line from the very beginning, got scars to show it. I even have victims in my family that changed my whole entire life. But we are at a good place. Again, let's pay attention to the young people. Let's pay attention because the educators have the knowledge of reading books and the background, but there's an action that's in the street right now. Let's support them by doing the right thing and listening, putting good policies through, standing behind them in their struggles because they're still fighting. They're still fighting because they know they have to. They don't have no other choice. And you know what? They're united. There is no discrimination in what they're doing. They're united. If it was in my era of time, I wouldn't be so frustrated, but I'm so happy in this time right now. I'm glad to be in this moment. Thank you guys for listening to me, and I didn't mean to take up the council time. I know we got a lot to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. You
for the
have earned
council
that
people,
time.
all of you, LaFortune,
You have.
Igliosi, all of you guys. Thank you. Thank you for all the ordinance that went through tonight. You made Mama happy.
Mama, you deserve it.
Thank you.
All right. Any further comments? Any further discussions? Councilman Espinal?
Madam President, thank you so much for the opportunity. I also want to rise and support of fellow City Council person. I must highlight Councilwoman LaFontaine, Councilman Salvatore, and Councilwoman Harris. Salvatore and LaFontaine have put forth a good set of resolutions that I feel it begins a discussion. I feel that in a way, it is our City Council small or mini police reform package. Council President, if this were enacted, there would be duty to intervene. We will not have what happened in Minneapolis, where 3 officers just stood there while Mr. Floyd was being publicly murdered. And also it is disheartening to hear that this gentleman, even if convicted, will be eligible for $1.5 million pension. So if Mr. Salvatore's resolution was also enacted into law, the Providence Board of Review, the retirement, would have to look into this to make sure that something like that it does not happen here. And speaking in regards to the Officers' Bill of Rights, yes, we go back many years, Councilwoman Harris and Councilman Igliosi at City Council trying to get police oversight. And Councilwoman Harris is right, when that police officer Bill of Rights kicked in, it always finds a way where many people that are not doing the right things can actually get away. But if enacted into law and this is repealed, it'll be reviewed and perhaps we could put something better in place. Councilman Salvatore also put in a resolution in regards to a training curriculum to revise. So I believe it was Councilwoman LaFontaine, but it's also a good resolution. Again, together this forms a, in my view, a small package of police reform. And I'm also proud of the legislative body that we have put together, especially when we all together have risen to condemn the actions of the officer that took Mr. George Floyd's life. It should have never happened. It was murder, and we need to condemn that, and we have done that. Council President, thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'm proud of the work that this legislative body is doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Espinal. Just want to double check. I see that Deputy Majority Leader Harris, your hand is still raised. Are you all set?
Is it? No, I spoke to Laura that I don't.
Okay.
Is that right?
Councilman Espinal, are you all set?
I'm all set, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. All right. So any further discussion? Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Council President Matos.
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Aye.
Councilwoman Castillo.
Aye.
Councilman Correa.
I'll be voting aye on items 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, and 19. And I will not be voting on items number 15, 17, 20, and 21.
Councilman Espinal.
Aye.
Councilman Goncalves.
Aye.
Councilwoman Harris.
Aye.
Councilman Igliosi.
Aye on all items, except I'm abstaining on item number 20.
Councilor Kerwin.
Aye.
Councilwoman LaFortune.
Aye on the items that I mentioned earlier.
sorry.
when you read through. Aye on the items that you captured earlier when you went through each of them.
Okay, yes, we're voting on all of those items, items 11.
Okay.
All of them.
All right.
Councilor Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Narducci is absent. Councilwoman Ryan.
Aye.
Councilman Salvatore.
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
You have 14 ayes on items 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, and 19, and one absent. You have 13 ayes and one nay on items 15, 17, and 21, and you have and also one absent, of course, and one nay. And on item 20, we have 12 ayes, one abstention, and one nay, and one absent. The several matters pass. From the clerk's desk, item 22, petition from Diana Ducharme and Emily J. Migliaccio, Cervenka Green and Ducharme LLC, 235 Promenade Street, Suite 475, Providence, Rhode Island, 02908, requesting a zone change for the property located on Assessor's Plat 68, Lot 852, otherwise known as 40 Candace Street, from R3 to C2. You're on mute, Council President.
Thank you. Sorry. I refer to the committee ordinance.
Presentation of resolutions and congratulations. Item 23, Council President Matos and members of the City Council, resolution extending congratulations.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to pass item 23 on a voice vote.
Second that motion, Madam President.
Motion has been made and second to pass item number 23 on a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Presentation of resolutions in memoriam. Item 24, Council President Matos and members of the City Council, resolution extending sympathy.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to pass item 24 on a unanimous rising vote.
Second, Madam President.
Motion has been made and second to pass item number 24 on a unanimous rising vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Madam President,
Leader Ryan.
motion to suspend Rule 16B of the Providence City Council rules to take up matters not appearing on the docket.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and second to suspend the City Council Rule 16B in order to take some items that didn't appear in the printed docket. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk?
Presentation of ordinances. Item 25, Council President Matos, an ordinance of the City of Providence authorizing the issuance of tax anticipation notes. Item 26, an ordinance of the City of Providence approving the establishment of the City of Providence, Rhode Island debt policy. Item 27, an ordinance of the City of Providence appropriating monies from the city's undesignated general fund surplus to pay debt service, payroll, and associated taxes and other essential contract payments. Presentation of resolution, item 28, Council President Matos, resolution authorizing the transfer of certain funds for school building construction from the Capital Assets Fund to the General Fund.
Thank you. All those items are going to be referred to the Committee on Finance. Leader Ryan?
Madam President, motion to adjourn this meeting in memory of Deborah A. Glavin.
Second, Madam President.
Okay, motion has been made and second to adjourn to memory of Deborah A. Glavin. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, I have it. We're adjourned. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Madam President.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you, everybody.
Congratulations, Councilman Goncalves, on your first official meeting.
Thank
Congratulations.
you, Madam President.
Congratulations.